Hi folks, and welcome back to our analysis of the contracts the Department of Defense gives out to the military-industrial complex. These contracts are from the time frame of March 24th through March 28th, and we went over 64 contracts. These are contracts that are all over $7.5 million, and we write them down on this book. We'll put a little picture of the book up here for you. But we had 64 contracts, average of 29 million. And did we have any whoppers?
We had a few. We had a couple come in at about $5 billion each. So we're gonna go over those with you. So hang with us. And so here we go.
We start out with the Lockheed Martin Corporation contract in the amount of $238 million, which will allow the company to buy materials, parts, and components to build more of the F-35 jet planes. These planes each cost about $100 million. Lockheed says they can build about 150 to 200 of these jet fighters each year at their St. Louis, Missouri plant. And the government says that we may be purchasing up to 2,900 of these jet fighters. And what sort of war we could use all 2,900 of these fighters, I'm not sure. Bollinger Shipbuilding gets a $951 million contract for design and construction of the Coast Guard Security Cutter. This is an ice-breaking ship. This contract appears to be on top of a contract that was issued back in 2019 to VT Halter Marine for the same ship in the amount of $745 million. Since that time, Bollinger has bought VT Marine. On we go to a $1,065 million contract to General Dynamics Electric Boat Corporation for the construction of more Virginia-class submarines. Just last week, we launched the USS Iowa, the latest in the Virginia-class submarines, and that makes it either the 24th or 25th Virginia-class submarine that we have. This $1 billion contract certainly wouldn't pay for a single boat, as each boat costs $4.2 billion each. Quick factoid about these boats: they're over the length of a football field, and they can dive up to 800 feet, and they can stay submerged for over a year. The keel for the Iowa was laid in the year 2019, so it took 6 years to build that ship. Here's a chart from the Government Accountability Office that shows the delay in building ships. Right now, for the Virginia-class submarines, we are 3 years behind schedule. Next up, a $450 million contract, nearly $500 million, to HDT Expeditionary Systems of Ohio. And this is for the Improved Environmental Control Unit program. And we're probably all wondering what exactly that is. First, let's take a look at HDT itself. Its product lines consist pretty much of camping equipment on steroids, meant for the military and others who can afford high-priced stuff. The Improved Environmental Control Unit program generally consists of heating and air conditioning units. A year ago, in April 2024, HDT was awarded a $432 million contract for rigid wall shelters for the United States Army. I suspect that they got some of these shelters up and finally figured out that they needed heating and air conditioning to make the interiors tolerable. Large food contracts come through with some regularity, and this is a big one, $92 million, given to U.S. Foods, Inc. of Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. And this is for members of the Army, Air Force, and Marine Corps stationed in the state of Texas. Before getting into the next contract, let's remind ourselves of exactly how much $1 billion is. $1 billion is the same as 1,000 million dollars. The next contract we have is to Lockheed Martin, and this is a big one, $4,937 million. So this would be $1 million times 4,937. Huge money here. This is for the Precision Strike Missiles Increment 1, which will be used by the Army. This is a surface-to-surface missile, as is common with these contracts. Production numbers aren't given, but with a little investigation, I found out that 400 of these missiles were ordered. That comes out to a price of $12,342,000 for each missile. So let's hope the Army doesn't have to launch a lot of these in the course of training and practice. A rocket launching contract was given to Rocket Lab National Security of Long Beach, California for $5.6 billion. And how many millions is that? That's $5,600 million. Another launch contract, and this one is the Whopper of the Week at $13.7 billion in launch service contracts given to SpaceX, United Launch Alliance, and Blue Origin. And SpaceX emerges as the leading contractor with a $5.9 billion share of this contract. And the $13.7 billion price tag equates to $13,700 million.
Well, that was a whole lot of money we spent.
Yep. And we seem to be spending money like drunken sailors on these military contracts, while at the same time cutting veterans' salaries or employers and forest rangers and Department of Education. So you know, if they really want to walk their talk and tell us that they're trying to bring down the debt, why aren't they bringing down these military contracts?
Well, I think it has a lot to do with lobbyists and Congress people getting donations and all of that. But we have a Pete Hegseth Award to give out today for the most questionable contract of the week. And let's see who it is. And that award goes to
General Dynamics Mission Systems.
And that's a $31 million, $305,211. Did I say 31 million?
Yes, you did.
$31 million, $305,211 contract. It's a modification to a previous contract. So I went back and found the previous contract, and that was a year ago. It was actually April 1 of 2024, and that was a $33.7 million contract with options, which if exercised would bring the cumulative value of the project to $92,562,666. So $92 million. And the problem with this is it's for the littoral combat ships. And the littoral combat ships have been notoriously bad ship. They've had operational problems, they've had structural problems with the ships, even the hulls are cracking. About a year ago I read where they were trying to give these ships, some of the ships, away to South American countries, and they wouldn't even take them. And already the first littoral combat ship was built in 2008, it's supposed to have a 40-year life, and they've already decommissioned 6 of these ships.
Oh boy.
So it's a big money loser, and the question here is, why are we putting more money into the littoral combat ships? It's sort of like the Zumwalt destroyers, which is a big project. They were supposed to build a whole crew of these destroyers, and they ended up building 3 before they found out that the munitions for those big guns on those ships were going to be costing us $750,000 a piece, and they couldn't afford to practice with the munitions. So then they had all these ships, 3 existing ships went back, and I don't know if that job's finished, but they're going to be refitted with missiles. You can imagine putting missiles in a ship after it's just built for guns on its deck. So
Right.
in any case, bad deal, bad deal. So what's our next video? It's sort of interesting.
Yes, it's going to be on the F-47, as you call it, the Dictator.
The Dictator, F-47 Dictator
Yeah,
jets.
and our president wants to create many of them, is from what he's saying. He wants to build many of them. And we are trying to figure out what is the justification for it. So
And also the cost. We've got some information on what the cost might be.
Right. Done some numbers. We've crunched some numbers. So should be interesting. So come back again and watch it.
That should be out shortly.
Yeah. We look forward to seeing you again soon.
And
In the meantime.
And that's going to be that's going to be a very questionable
That's questionable,
airplane
too.
and controversial. Certainly we're against it,
Yeah.
just from the standpoint of money. So we've already got the B-21 Raider project that they're testing those planes now, and those are going to be somewhere around $400 million a piece for those planes, for the bombers. So-
Well, you know me, I'm more into learning to negotiate and work with our brothers and sisters on this planet because we are all in this together and we don't need to be fighting one another. It's ridiculous, it's embarrassing. We've got to figure this out and learn how to get past war. But we're never going to get past it with these military, with the spending. We've turned war into big business. We've got all these companies that are trying to get the contracts. And really, what's going on here? When are we going to get past this? are we gonna
We're
get
going to
this?
have this until money gets out of politics, and that's going to require some something from the Supreme Court and so on. So I don't think it's going to happen very fast, but yeah, we're in a real mess right now, and this F-47 is just a bigger mess yet. So at any rate, tune in for that. That's going to be really interesting.
For sure.
And thanks for being with us.
Yep, take care of yourselves, take care of one another, and we'll see you again soon.